My fiancée slept with my brother and got pregnant, then came begging me to raise their baby. So, I cut them all off and slammed every door in their faces. I need to get this out somewhere because if I don't, I'm going to lose my mind. 3 years. That's how long I'd been with Carol. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue, hit it off immediately, and within 6 months I knew she was the one. Or at least, I thought I did. We got engaged 8 months ago, and I've been busting my crap ever since to give her the wedding she wanted. I'm a commercial diesel mechanic at a freight company. It's good money, but not fairy tale wedding money. So, I picked up every double shift I could get. Weekends, holidays, didn't matter. Carol had this vision. The historic venue downtown. The photographer who shot her cousin's wedding. The dress from some boutique I'd never heard of. The deposit alone was $3,000. I didn't complain. I wanted her to be happy. My brother Tim? Different story. He's 2 years younger than me, 24, and hasn't held a job for more than 3 months in his entire life. Always got some business idea he's working on. Always needs to borrow money from our parents. They eat it up. Golden child syndrome or whatever. I'm the dependable one, the boring one. Tim's the dreamer. Anyway, the wedding was 4 months out. I've been working 70-hour weeks, coming home exhausted, barely seeing Carol. She'd been acting weird lately, distant, always on her phone, going out with friends more than usual. I figured it was wedding stress. She kept saying she was overwhelmed with planning. Last Tuesday, I had a shift that got cut short. Equipment malfunction. Whole bay had to shut down for repairs. I texted Carol I was coming home early, but she didn't respond. Not unusual, she was probably at the gym or running errands. I got to our apartment around 2 in the afternoon. Her car was in the lot. I walked in, dropped my keys on the counter, and heard the shower running. Then I saw her phone sitting there, screen up. It buzzed. I don't snoop. Never have. But the name on the screen caught my eye. T-red heart emoji. The preview read, "Can't wait to see you tonight. I'm already missing you." My stomach dropped. I stood there for maybe 10 seconds, just staring at it. Then I picked it up. No passcode. She'd always trusted me, said she had nothing to hide. I opened the thread. 4 months of messages. Pictures. Plans to meet up. Explicit stuff I'm not going to repeat here. And at the bottom of one message, a sign-off that made my blood run cold. "Love you, baby. Tim. Tim, my brother." I scrolled up. Months of this. While I was working doubles to pay for her dream wedding, she was sneaking around with my unemployed, freeloading little brother. The same guy who still lived in our parents' basement and borrowed gas money. The shower shut off. I just stood there, phone in my hand, trying to process what I was seeing. My brain couldn't catch up. This wasn't real. It couldn't be. The bathroom door opened. Carol walked out in a towel, hair dripping, and froze when she saw me. "Hey, babe," she said, voice shaky. "I didn't hear you come in." I held up the phone. "Who's T?" Her face went white. "I can explain. Who is T?" She didn't answer, just stood there, water pooling at her feet, eyes filling with tears. I turned the phone toward her so she could see the screen. "You want to explain this? Or should I call him and ask?" "Please," she whispered. "Please don't." "How long?" "It's not. How long?" 4 months. Her voice cracked. "I'm so sorry. It just happened." I didn't mean for I laughed. Actually laughed. It came out bitter and harsh, and she flinched. "You didn't mean for it to happen for 4 months while I worked myself into the ground so you could have your perfect wedding?" "I know. I know. I messed up. With my brother." She started crying. Full on sobbing. And I just stood there, numb, watching her fall apart. "Does he know?" I asked. "Does Tim know?" She nodded. "And my parents?" She hesitated. That's when I knew. "They know," I said. It wasn't a question. Before I could say another word, she put her hand on her stomach and whispered, "I'm pregnant." The room started spinning. "Pregnant?" I repeated. "How far along?" 2 months. I did the math in my head. 2 months. 4 months of cheating. The baby was Tim's. It's his. She nodded, tears streaming down her face. "I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt you. It just had happened, and then I found out, and I didn't know how to tell you. Get out." "What?" "Get dressed and get out of my apartment. Now. Please, we can talk about this." I grabbed my keys and walked toward the door. "You've got 10 minutes to pack whatever you need. When I come back, you better be gone." I didn't wait for her response. I got in my truck and just drove. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely grip the steering wheel. I pulled into a gas station parking lot and sat there, trying to breathe. Pregnant. With my brother's kid. While wearing my engagement ring. I pulled out my phone and called Tim. He answered on the third ring. "Hey, man. What's up?" "What's up?" I couldn't believe how casual he sounded. "You want to tell me what the hell you've been doing with Carol?" Silence. "Yeah. I said. She told me. All of it. Look. Man, don't look, man, me. She's pregnant, Tim. With your kid. My fiancée is pregnant with your kid. He sighed, like I was inconveniencing him. We didn't plan it. It just happened. It just happened for 4 months behind my back. She was going to tell you? Do mom and dad know? Another pause. Too long. They know, don't they? Yeah, he admitted. They know. Something in my chest cracked. How long have they known? A couple weeks. Carol told them when she found out she was pregnant. And nobody thought to tell me. We were figuring out how. I hung up. I sat there for maybe 5 minutes, just staring at the dashboard. Then I started the truck and drove straight to my parents' house. I didn't knock. I walked right in through the side door like I'd done 1,000 times growing up. They were all in the kitchen. Mom, Dad, and Tim, sitting around the table with Chinese takeout containers spread out in front of them. Like it was just another Tuesday. They looked up when I walked in. Tim's face went pale. We need to talk. I said. Mom stood up. Sweetheart, we were going to call you. Were you? Because Carol just told me she's pregnant with Tim's baby. And apparently you've all known for weeks. Dad set down his fork. Son, sit down. Let's discuss this calmly. Discuss what? The fact that my brother's been screwing my fiancée? Or that my parents knew and didn't say a word? We didn't want to upset you before we figured out the right way to handle it. Mom said. The right way to handle it? I looked at Tim. You got anything to say? He shrugged. What do you want me to say? We didn't plan it. But Carol and I, we have something real. She's happy with me. I actually laughed. You're 24 years old, unemployed, living in mom and dad's basement. What exactly are you offering her? That's enough, Dad said sharply. Tim is trying to step up and do the right thing. The right thing? He destroyed my relationship. It takes 2 people, Mom said quietly. Carol made her choice. And now there's a baby to think about. A baby? I shook my head. So, what's the plan here? I'm supposed to just what? Forgive everyone and move on? Mom and Dad exchanged a look. We already had a small dinner, Mom said carefully, when Carol told us about the pregnancy. Just family. To celebrate the news. The room tilted. You what? We wanted to support them. You threw them a celebration dinner while I'm working 70 hours a week to pay for a wedding that's never going to happen? This is God's plan. Mom said firmly. Tim has finally found his purpose. You'll understand someday. I stared at her. At all of them. You're unbelievable, I said. All of you. Dad stood up. You're being selfish. This is about family now. About supporting your brother and that baby. My brother who betrayed me? And you want me to support him? Yes, Dad said. That's what family does. I walked out, didn't say goodbye. Didn't look back. That night, I canceled every wedding vendor. Lost all the deposits. Over $8,000 gone. I packed Carol's stuff into boxes and left them in the hallway outside my apartment. Changed the locks. She called 47 times. I didn't answer. 3 weeks later, I got a group text from my mom. A photo. Baby shower invitation. Pink and blue balloons. Celebrating Tim and Carol's blessing. The party was at my parents' house. Next Saturday, they'd used my money to throw it. I blocked all their numbers that night. Mom, Dad, Tim, Carol, every single one. The next day, I walked into my supervisor's office and asked about the transfer program. We had facilities in 6 states. I didn't care which one, I just needed out. Phoenix? He suggested. We need a senior guy down there. Good pay bump, too. I took it on the spot. 2 weeks later, I was gone. Sold most of my furniture, packed what fit in my truck, and drove 14 hours straight. Didn't tell anyone where I was going. Just disappeared. The first few months were rough. I'd wake up angry, go to bed angry. Everything reminded me of the betrayal. I threw myself into work, 60, 70-hour weeks again, but this time for me. Got promoted to senior diesel mechanic within 4 months. Better pay, better hours, my own team to manage. I started seeing a therapist. Never thought I'd be that guy, but I needed to talk to someone who wasn't involved. She helped me work through the rage, the humiliation, all of it. Told me it was okay to grieve what I'd lost, even if what I lost was a lie. Joined a boxing gym. Sounds cliche, but hitting something helped. Made friends there, guys who didn't know my history, didn't ask questions. We'd grab beers after training, talk about normal stuff. It felt good to be around people who weren't tied to my past. Around month 8, I went on a date. Nothing serious, just coffee with a woman I met at the gym. It didn't go anywhere, but it felt normal. Like I was human again, not just a walking wound. Almost a year after I left, I was sitting on my balcony one evening, beer in hand, watching the sunset. And I realized something. I was okay, actually okay. The anger had faded into indifference. I didn't think about Carol or Tim or my parents anymore. They were just gone. Part of a life I used to have. I was rebuilding, and it felt good. Then, on a random Saturday in October, my doorbell rang. I was watching football, half asleep on the couch. Figured it was a delivery or something. I opened the door without checking the peephole. Carol was standing there, holding a baby. I froze. She looked like hell. Dark circles under her eyes, hair pulled back in a messy ponytail, clothes that looked slept in. The baby, maybe 6 months old, was bundled in a blanket, sleeping against her shoulder. "Hi," she said, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't respond. Just stared, her eyes filled with tears. "Please, I need your help." I started to close the door. She stuck her foot in the gap. "Wait. Please, just listen. How did you find me?" "I called your old job. They wouldn't tell me where you transferred, but I kept calling. Someone finally slipped up and mentioned Phoenix. I've been driving around for 2 days looking for your truck." "Jesus Christ, you need to leave," I said. "Tim left me." The words came out in a rush, desperate. 2 months after the baby was born. He couldn't handle it. "Moved back in with your parents. I'm alone. I can't afford rent. I can barely keep us fed. Not my problem. Please." She was full on sobbing now. "I made a mistake. I know I did. But I'm drowning here. And I have nowhere else to go." I looked at the baby. Tiny face, Tim's nose. My nephew, technically. But I felt nothing. "You chose him," I said, voice flat. "You celebrated with my family. You let them throw you a baby shower with my money while I was falling apart. You made your bed. I'm sorry. I was stupid. I was wrong. I don't care. Please, for old time's sake, there are no old times. There's nothing between us. You're a stranger who destroyed my life. What am I supposed to do?" She wailed. "Figure it out." Like I had to. I stepped back and slammed the door hard. She stood out there crying for at least 10 minutes. I could hear her through the door, begging, apologizing. The baby started crying, too. I turned the TV volume up and sat back down on the couch. Eventually, the hallway went quiet. I sat there for a long time, hands shaking, heart pounding. But I didn't regret it, not for a second. The next morning, I left for the gym at 6 in the morning. She was sitting in the hallway outside my door, the baby asleep in a carrier beside her. She scrambled to her feet the second she saw me. "Please, just listen." She blocked my path, the baby carrier in one hand. "I slept out here. I have nowhere to go." I pulled out my phone. "You have 5 seconds to leave before I call the cops." "You'd really do that? With a baby here?" 4 seconds. "Tim won't answer my calls. Your parents said they can't help. They're already supporting him." 3 seconds. "I'm begging you." I started dialing 911. She grabbed the carrier and ran. I heard her footsteps echoing down the stairwell. Then nothing. I went to the gym, worked out for 2 hours, tried to pretend my hands weren't shaking the entire time. She came back that night. I was making dinner when I heard the knocking. Soft at first, then louder. Then her voice. "I know you're in there. Please. Please. Just talk to me." I ignored her. Put in headphones, turned on music. After 20 minutes, she left. The next morning, she was waiting by my truck in the parking lot. "How did you even get in here?" I snapped. "This is a secured building. Someone held the door," she said. "Look, I'm not trying to harass you. That's exactly what you're doing. I just need help. Just a little money to get back on my feet. No, a few $100s. That's it, then I'll leave you alone. You'll leave me alone now, or I'm getting a restraining order." Her face hardened. "You're really going to abandon your own nephew?" "That's not my nephew. That's your problem. Yours and Tim's." I got in my truck and drove off. Watched her in the rearview mirror, standing there with the carrier, getting smaller and smaller. Over the next 3 days, it escalated. She showed up at my apartment 4 more times. Knocked on my door at 11 in the evening on Tuesday. Left notes slipped under my door. "I'm sorry. Please help us." One note had the baby's footprints on it. Like that would change anything. I finally unblocked her number long enough to send one text. "Stop. I will call the police." She responded immediately. "You're heartless. This is your nephew. Your blood. Me. No, that's your and Tim's problem. Lose my number." I blocked her again. Thursday afternoon, I went to the apartment management office. "I need to file a complaint," I told the property manager. "Someone's been harassing me, camping outside my door, following me to my truck. I need her banned from the property." The manager, a middle-aged guy named Roger, frowned. "Is this an ex?" "Something like that." "You want to file a police report?" "Not yet. But I want her escorted off the property if she shows up again." He nodded. "We can do that. I'll alert security." "You got a photo?" I pulled up an old picture of Carol from before everything went to hell. Roger made a note in his system. "She comes back, we'll handle it. he said. I also stopped by a lawyer's office on my lunch break. Just a consultation. Explain the situation, minus the messy details. If she persists, you've got grounds for a restraining order, the lawyer said. Especially if she's showing up at your home and workplace repeatedly. Document everything. Texts, dates, times. I left feeling oddly satisfied. I was in control now. Not her, not my family. Me. 5 days passed. No sign of Carol. I started to think she'd finally given up. Then my phone rang. A number I hadn't seen in almost a year. Mom. I stared at the screen. My thumb hovered over the decline button. But curiosity got the better of me. I answered. What, honey? Her voice was syrupy sweet, the tone she used when she wanted something. We need to talk. About what? About Carol and the baby. She came to us. She told us everything. She's really struggling. Not my problem. There was a pause, then Dad's voice came through. He must have been on speaker. Son, that baby is your bloodline. You need to step up and do the right thing. I laughed. Actually laughed. You want me to raise the kid you celebrated? I said. The one you threw a baby shower for with my money, while I was paying for a wedding that never happened? Dead silence. Then Dad's voice. Hard and cold. We're coming to see you. This conversation isn't over. Don't bother, I said. I didn't invite you, and I won't open the door. This is about family. I hung up. 2 days later, Saturday afternoon, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole. Mom and Dad, standing in the hallway. They looked older than I remembered. Dad's hair grayer, Mom's face more lined. But their expressions were the same, entitled, expectant. I didn't open the door. Dad banged his fist against it. Open up. We drove 6 hours to talk to you. I didn't invite you, I called through the door. This is about family, Mom shouted. I sighed and opened the door, but I stood in the doorway, blocking the entrance. They weren't coming inside. Dad looked me up and down. You look good. Life treating you well out here? What do you want? Mom's face softened into her concerned mother routine. Sweetheart, we're worried about you. Carol told us you wouldn't help her. And I'm not going to. She's family now, Mom said. That baby is your nephew. We need you to help. Help how? Dad jumped in. Financially, she can't work full-time with an infant. Tim's looking for work, but it's tough right now. I cut him off. Tim's 24 and still unemployed. After a whole year. He's trying, Dad snapped. Is he? Or is he sitting in your basement playing video games like he always does? That's not fair. You want me to pay for their kid? I stared at them. You're insane. Mom stepped closer. It's your bloodline. Your nephew. You can't just turn your back on blood. Blood? I laughed. Bitter. You chose him over me. You celebrated his kid with my fiancée while I was falling apart. Don't talk to me about blood. If you had given us grandchildren, Mom said, her voice tight. Maybe none of this would have happened. I went completely still. Excuse me? You were so focused on work, she continued. You ignored Carol's needs. You were never home. Is it really surprising she found someone who paid attention to her? The audacity was breathtaking. So, this is my fault? I said slowly. Carol cheating on me with Tim. That's on me. I'm not saying you literally just said it. Dad held up his hand. Everyone made mistakes. But what's done is done. Now there's a child who needs support. Be a man. Step up. This is what family does. Family? I felt the rage building, white hot behind my eyes. You threw them a baby shower. With my money, the deposits I lost when I canceled the wedding, $8,000, and you used it to celebrate the people who destroyed my life. We didn't celebrate your pain. I saw the photos, Mom, the cake, the decorations, the smiles. You were thrilled. We were supporting your brother. You could have called me. You could have told me what was happening. You could have asked how I was doing. But you didn't. Not once. Not until you needed money. Dad's face reddened. You're being selfish. That baby didn't ask to be born into this situation. And I didn't ask to be betrayed by everyone I trusted. So, you're just going to abandon him? Mom's voice cracked. Let your nephew grow up knowing his uncle wanted nothing to do with him? I'm not his uncle. I said, voice steady and cold. I'm a stranger, just like you're strangers to me now. Mom started crying. Real tears this time, not the manipulative kind. We just want what's best for everyone. She sobbed. Then tell him to get a job. Tell Carol to apply for government assistance. But leave me out of it. You'll regret this. Dad said, his voice low and threatening. One day you'll need family, and we won't be there. Good. I don't want you there. Mom gasped. How can you say that? Because you chose them. You made it clear where I stand. So, yeah, I owe you nothing. I owe Carol nothing. I owe Tim nothing. I'm done. You can't just I can. And I am. I stepped back into my apartment. Don't contact me again. I said, any of you. We're finished. I slammed the door. Dad pounded on it immediately, his fists hammering against the wood. You open this door right now. We're not done talking. I stood on the other side, silent, listening to him rage. You're making a mistake, he shouted. You hear me? A mistake. Mom's voice, muffled. Please, honey, just open the door. I walked away, went to my bedroom, closed that door, put in headphones. After 2 minutes, the pounding stopped. I heard their footsteps fade down the hallway. My phone buzzed. A text from a number I hadn't deleted yet. Tim, you're dead to us. I stared at Tim's text for a long moment. Then I blocked his number, too. Dead to them. Fine. The feeling was mutual. The silence that followed was the loudest thing I'd ever heard. No calls. No texts. No surprise visits. Nothing. I changed my phone number the following week, just to be safe. Updated apartment security with photos of Carol, Tim, and my parents, banned from the property. Roger took it seriously, added their info to the system. They show up, we call the police immediately. He assured me. For the first time in over a year, I felt like I could breathe. I stopped thinking about them, stopped wondering what they were doing, if they were okay, if they hated me. I just let it go. Work got better. I was promoted again, lead mechanic, managing a team of 6 guys. Good people, hard workers. We grabbed beers on Fridays, talk about sports and cars and normal life stuff. Nobody knew about my past, and I liked it that way. I started dating someone. Her name's Vanessa, met her at a friend's cookout. She's a paramedic, works crazy hours like I used to. We're taking it slow, nothing serious yet, but it's healthy. Normal. No drama. Bought a small house in November. 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, decent yard. It's mine, paid for with my own money, built on my own terms. I opened a savings account, started an investment portfolio. Built the future I wanted, not the one someone else demanded. About 3 months after my parents showed up, I got a message on Facebook from someone I barely remembered, a mutual friend from high school, someone who'd been on the edge of my old social circle. Hey, man, just wanted to check in. Saw some stuff online about Carol and Tim. Hope you're doing okay. I almost ignored it, but curiosity got the better of me. What stuff? He sent me screenshots. Carol had posted something on Facebook. Vague. Bitter. Amazing how people can turn their backs on family when you need them most. Guess loyalty doesn't mean anything anymore. The comments were brutal. Old friends, distant relatives, people I didn't even know, all asking what happened. Someone. I never found out who. Spilled the whole story in the comments. Every detail. The cheating. The pregnancy. The baby shower. My family's celebration. Me cutting contact. Carol deleted the post within an hour, but the screenshots were everywhere. A week later, I got a message from my aunt, Dad's sister. We'd always gotten along, but I hadn't talked to her since I left. I just heard what really happened. I'm so sorry. I had no idea. Your parents told everyone you just couldn't handle Tim and Carol's relationship. They made it sound like you were being petty. I messaged her back. Thanks for reaching out. I appreciate it. Your mom's been trying to spin this as you abandoning your nephew. But people aren't buying it anymore. A lot of the family is pretty disgusted, honestly. Good to know. For what it's worth, I think you did the right thing. You deserved better. I'm proud of you. That one hit different. I thanked her and left it at that. Didn't need to dig deeper into their lives. She mentioned Carol had moved back to her parents' place in another state. Tim was still unemployed, still living in the basement. My parents were facing backlash from extended family and old friends who finally knew the truth. I felt nothing. No satisfaction, no vindication. Just relief that it was over. 4 months passed. Then, one random Tuesday, a text from an unknown number. Your father had a heart attack. He's stable, but we thought you should know. Mom. I stared at the message for a long time. Part of me, a small, fading part, felt something. Concern, maybe, worry. But mostly, I just felt tired. I didn't respond. I blocked the number. Some people think I'm cold, that I should have helped Carol, or forgiven my family, or at least met my nephew. But here's the thing. They didn't just betray me once. They chose to. Over and over. They celebrated my pain. Asked me to pay for it. Blamed me for their mistakes. I don't owe anyone my peace. Not my parents. Not Tim. Not Carol. Not even the baby. Because that kid isn't my responsibility. He's theirs. Walking away wasn't revenge. It was survival. And now I'm thriving. I've got a job I'm good at, a house I own, people in my life who actually give a damn about me. I wake up every day without the weight of their betrayal crushing me. To anyone going through something similar, you don't have to set yourself on fire to keep others warm. Family isn't about blood. It's about respect, loyalty, and love. And if they can't give you that, you don't owe them anything. Choose yourself. Always. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you really like our videos, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Have a great day.